He stood at the altar with charm, a smile, and a secret. She stood with love, faith, and a dream. But what she didn't know was that her new husband had made a bet. A cruel joke, with her as the punchline. Her name was Danielle Freeman, a 30-year-old nurse from Birmingham, Alabama, known for her deep laugh, full-figured confidence, and heart bigger than the city itself. She wasn't the type to turn heads on magazine covers, but when she walked into a room, people felt her. She wasn't just seen, she was felt. Raised by her grandmother in a tight-knit, God-fearing neighborhood, Danielle had weathered storms that would break most people. Bullied in high school for her weight. Doubted in college because she didn't look the part. Ignored in church picnics. Ghosted after first dates. But through it all, she kept her spirit intact. Kept praying, I just want someone who sees me, who chooses me, not just tolerates me, chooses me. Then came Brandon Chase, a real estate mogul from Atlanta, known for flashy suits, a Lamborghini, and a social media following of over 400,000. Women adored him, men envied him, but behind the filters and flash was a man bored with everything money could buy. Bro, I could marry anybody I wanted, just for laughs. Maybe even pull a rags and riches fairy tale, just to prove a point. His friends strongly disagree, so next they placed a bet. And that was it, a six-figure dare. Find someone who didn't fit the mold, marry her, document it, and dump her publicly. Brandon thought it would be hilarious. What he didn't know was what she would become. He thought he could use her, but she had a power he never saw coming. When Danielle met Brandon, she had no idea she was walking into a trap. He slid into her DMs with compliments, took her out to rooftop dinners, told her she was beautiful in ways no one ever had before. And for the first time, she believed it. They became the talk of the town. How did she get him? Some said she must have been rich. Others whispered witchcraft. But Danielle ignored them. Love was finally knocking on her door, calling her grandma, excited. He makes me feel seen, mama, like I'm the only woman in the world. But to Brandon, he wasn't planning a future. He was planning content. Every post, every kiss, curated, edited, sponsored, monetized. The wedding came quick, too quick. A lavish ceremony in Atlanta with influencers, champagne fountains, and camera crews. Danielle thought she was living a fairy tale, but Brandon was just cashing in on views. But fate has a funny way of turning the game on the player, because what happened after the wedding shocked everyone, including Brandon. They say love is blind, but betrayal? It has a scent, a shadow, a chill that creeps into a room even when the sun is shining. And for Danielle, that chill started just 2 weeks after I do. Brandon was changing. No more good morning texts. No more spontaneous lunch dates. His laugh grew shorter, his phone tighter in his hand. He started disappearing on business trips and hosting late-night meetings she wasn't allowed to attend. Danielle wondering, is it me? Did I do something wrong? Or was it always like this and I just didn't see it? She blamed herself, like too many women do. Maybe she wasn't glamorous enough. Maybe her body embarrassed him in public. Maybe, just maybe, he had fallen out of love. Danielle cleaning Brandon's home office while he's away. Her hand accidentally knocks a USB drive off the desk. Curiosity pulls her in. She plugs it into the laptop. What she found shattered her world. A folder labeled Project Danielle. Dozens of edited videos. Mockery masked as content. Footage of their dates with captions like, "Look what I bagged," and "From nurse to purse money bagged." Private moments, stolen and uploaded. Danielle gasps, covering her mouth. Her eyes well up as she clicks through each file. One video hits hardest, Brandon laughing with friends. Brandon words, on camera, "Watch me make the world think I'm in love. She's gonna cry on camera when I expose it, then I'll go viral. Trust me, this is money." She couldn't breathe. Her chest tightened as the truth settled in. It wasn't love. It was entertainment. Her heart was a storyline, and he was the director. Danielle sitting in her car outside a church at midnight. Rain falling softly. Her wedding ring sits on the dashboard. He used me. And the worst part? I let him. I let my need to be loved blind me. But not anymore. Pain turned to anger. And anger? Into resolve. Danielle wasn't going to be his victim. Not quietly. Not this time. Unbeknownst to Brandon, someone else was watching. One of his so-called friends, disgusted by the game, sent an anonymous email to a major black-owned media outlet with footage, screenshots, and proof of the cruel bet. Headlines flash across the screen. Influencer married woman as a dare. Is this the sickest viral trend yet? Hashtag Justice for Danielle trends on Twitter. The internet exploded. People were furious. Women cried. Men called him out. Celebrities tweeted. Support poured in for the woman they once judged and now admired. Danielle stands in front of her bathroom mirror, staring at herself. She isn't crying. She's still, focused. She opens her phone. Hits record. To everyone who laughed at me, judged me, or watched in silence, this is my story now. Not his. The video went viral in hours. Not because of pity, but because of power. Danielle didn't ask for sympathy. She demanded accountability. And for once, the world listened. Brandon walking out of a podcast studio, bombarded by reporters. Mr. Brandon, did you marry Danielle Freeman as a joke? Do you have anything to say to her? Brandon, visibly sweating, made no comment. The reporter insisted, but the world didn't need a comment. They saw the truth. And Danielle? She wasn't done yet, because what came next was the kind of justice you don't see in fairy tales. What began as humiliation turned into a digital revolution. Within 24 hours of Danielle's story going live, the internet erupted. Her pain ignited a fire that no influencer apology could put out. Danielle's story became more than a betrayal. It became a mirror reflecting how the world treats black women. How they're laughed at, mocked, and discarded until their story becomes someone else's profit. TikTok creators break down the manipulation. Therapists speak on emotional abuse. Black women post their own stories of being fetishized and discarded. Influencer on TikTok said, "This ain't about her weight. This is about a man thinking a black woman was disposable." That ends now. News anchors began covering the story. Danielle was invited to speak on major podcasts and national TV. But it wasn't about going viral. It was about being heard. Finally, Brandon thought he could silence her, but his silence only screamed louder. Sponsors pulled out. His influencer page? Deactivated. Brand deals gone. His PR firm dropped him. He tried to spin the narrative, claiming it was performance art, a social experiment. But no one was buying it. His friends laughed about it, told us she was a project, said she'd never figure it out. But Danielle wasn't just posting videos. She was building a case. Her legal team, black-led, female-led, was preparing to strike. And this time, it wouldn't be just emotionally. It would be legally. Danielle sued Brandon for damages, mental anguish, loss of privacy, and exploitation. Her lawyer filed a civil suit in court, and the documents spread like wildfire online. News headline: Woman sues influencer husband over bet marriage. Emotional damages seek $5 million. But Danielle didn't stop with her story. She launched a nonprofit, Love with Dignity, offering support to women who've been manipulated, gaslit, or used for clout. Danielle, on stage with large audience, said, "I was used as a storyline, but I'm reclaiming the narrative. This body, this heart, this voice, they were never a joke. They are power." Months passed. Brandon tried to stay silent, but subpoenas don't care about silence. And the public? They were still watching. The world knew justice wasn't going to be quiet. And this time, it wasn't just Danielle's fight. It was every woman who had ever been played, filmed, laughed at, and left. Brandon sitting alone in court, staring at the entrance as the doors swing open. Danielle walks in, head held high. So, unshaken, Brandon thought the game was his to win. He never expected that she would become the storm. Rain falls gently outside a packed courthouse. News crews gather. Protesters hold signs reading "Black women are not a joke" and "Respect black women." The world watched. Danielle didn't walk into that courtroom as a victim. She walked in as a survivor, a woman who had been mocked, humiliated, used, but never broken. Inside the courtroom, Danielle sits flanked by her legal team, composed, calm. Brandon sits at the opposite table, fidgeting, his lawyer whispering urgently to him. Brandon tried to mask his panic with a smirk, but the evidence was stacked high. And this time, his followers couldn't save him. This wasn't a comment section. This was the law. The judge said, "We are here to determine whether the defendant, Brandon Carrington, engaged in emotional manipulation and exploitation, and whether damages are owed to the plaintiff, Ms. Danielle Harris." Danielle takes the stand. She adjusts the microphone. The pause. Then, silence breaks as she speaks. "He made me believe I was loved. He made me feel like I finally mattered, only to find out I was a bet. A joke among his friends. A pawn in his game to go viral. I shared my deepest insecurities with him. My weight, my childhood bullying, the racism I faced. He weaponized all of it for laughs." Gasps filled the courtroom. Even the judge leaned in. Danielle's voice never trembled. She was the storm. Danielle's attorney projects screenshots of Brandon's group chat on the courtroom screen. "This is Mr. Carrington texting his friends. She's so desperate to be loved, she'll believe anything. Easiest bet I ever won." The jury shifts uncomfortably. Brandon hides his face. The courtroom didn't need a verdict yet. The evidence was already a gavel to the gut. Brandon's lawyer tried everything, calling it a misunderstanding, a miscommunication, dark humor. Brandon, on stand, it was just content. She was part of the brand. It wasn't meant to hurt her. Danielle's attorney responded, "So gaslighting a woman into marriage for a viral stunt is branding?" The jury deliberated for just 3 hours. The tension? You could cut it with a whisper. And then the judge decided. In favor of the plaintiff, Danielle Harris. Emotional damages, $3.2 million. Additional punitive damages, $1 million. The courtroom exploded in emotion. Danielle wept, not in sorrow, but in triumph. Supporters hug her. Her lawyer squeezes her hand. Brandon is escorted out by security. But Danielle had one more surprise. In her victory speech outside the courthouse, she dropped a truth bomb that silenced the nation. Danielle facing the cameras, "I wasn't the only one. There are more women. More stories. I'm launching a legal fund to help them fight back. I won't be the last woman Brandon tries to silence, but I'll be the first he couldn't." Cheers erupt. Tears flow. Sense wave. Danielle's weight wasn't the punchline. Her strength was the headline. She wasn't the bet. She was the checkmate. Every laugh at her expense became a lesson in respect. And the world finally listened.